Oh, howdy all, grab yourself a drink. It is time for some PathOfExile 1 discussion. Actually, skip the drink. This one's going to be a super short video today. I wanted to let you know about an upcoming race event. Why are we looking at a unique duel if we're going to be talking about a race event? Well, back in 3.17, Grinding Gear Games ran a pretty much carbon copy of the event that they've just announced today. This was run at the league start for 3.17. It was a race to kill various endgame bosses, and one of the winners was content creator Steel Mage. He was able to design a unique item that would drop from one of the pinnacle bosses, and he chose to design Impossible Escape. This is one of those really cool designed items, something that I don't know Grinding Gear Games would have thought up themselves. They've come up with some things kind of like it, but it's one of those items that may not exist in the game if it weren't for Steel Mage having won that race. Well, the reason I raise this is that they're going to be running another one of these boss kill events, and as a result, there'll be a number of new items like Impossible Escape that will end up getting added to the game as a consequence of this. Fun fact about this event, it's going to be a replacement for one that took place at 3.26 League Start, because when 3.26 League Start happened, there were some server problems. And these server problems were not tiny. They ended up causing basically a bit of a mess with the original event, and Grinding Gear Games decided, right, the results from the first one stand, but we're going to run a second one as well. This is going to be something that's taking place in a week's time from this video, or a little bit over a week. So it's going to be Thursday if you're in the US and similar time zones of next week, or Friday if, like me, you happen to be Australian or in a similar part of the world. Now, this is going to be hardcore solo self-found and a race to kill the 3 new pinnacle bosses in their non-quest versions. So you've got to defeat them at monster level 84, not at monster level 83. First place is going to be the ability to design a unique for the Incarnation of Dread, or potentially for the future Uber version of this, which does not currently exist in the game, and also to collaborate on the design of a divination card. And you'll also receive a Godslayer's Pride MTX, which is just something that you can show off. They'll also be given a bit more design space than usual for unique items, so they might, for instance, be able to design a unique map or something along those lines. Second and third are similar, but these are going to be for different pinnacle bosses. Incarnation of Neglect, Incarnation of Fear, they're going to be their second and third places. 4th to 10th are going to be able to commission a divination card and also receive the same show-off MTX. After this, there's also bonus prizes for the first Katarina kill, the first double Uber Elder kill, the first Uber Shaper kill, the first Uber Cirrus kill, and the first Uber Cortex kill. So this will be a clean start. So your accumulated wealth in hardcore solo self-found, if you play there, is not going to apply, and it'll be with the hardcore rule set and the solo self-found rule set in play. Now there is a similar but less generous event that'll be running on console, and in that event there's going to be divination card prizes for 1st, 2nd and 3rd. There is one of these prize pools for Xbox, and there is a separate one for PlayStation. There's also a bunch of additional rules. I'm not going to go through all of those in this video. These are important though. If you think you're one of the best, maybe 200 people in PathOfExile, then you definitely want to read all of these additional rules very, very closely so that you can work out exactly what applies to you. Whilst I think the pool of players that are actually going to be competitive in this event can be measured in the hundreds, not even in the thousands, this is still going to be a really exciting event for a couple of reasons. Firstly, it's going to be exciting to watch. This is a sort of event where you're going to be able to see some of the highest skilled play and also some of the tensest moments that you'll see within PathOfExile 1. But additionally, it's also going to be really interesting because a lot of the unique items that get designed out of events like these have been really high impact. I mentioned Impossible Escape before, but there's plenty of others. They broadly fit into 2 categories. They're either items that are really, really elegant designs that have quite an effect on the meta, or they tend to be items that have some sort of real power up for a narrow niche of build that might not be there yet, but that does just something really interesting that players may not immediately want, but they can eventually get to find a use for. Anyways, that's all I got on this. I'll leave it there. May your Varlobs have interesting results, and if you're one of the people that's competitive in this event, good luck, and may you end up coming up with interesting ideas for a unique item.